fight alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
The saga of episode 200. It's the Disenfranchised podcast. That's right, that podcast all about those franchises of one, those films that fancy themselves full-fledged franchises before falling flat on their face after the first film. Turns 200 episodes today. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy, and joining me, as ever he do, when he can, which isn't as often as it used to be, but he was there from the beginning, it's my buddy Brett Wright. Hey, buddy, how's it going, Brett?
Hello, Stephen.
Ah, he did the thing.
Yeah.
Take a shot, everybody.
Oh, are we doing it now? Shit, okay. I can. I was
Get
going to wait,
on
but...
level. No, dude, it's episode 200.
I'm going to turn my microphone off, though, because I'm definitely going to cough.
Love it. And the guy whose microphone is now off, so I can say just about anything I want about him. It's doing a shot, and he's getting ready to cough. There he goes. He's coughing up a storm, hacking away. It's our good friend Tucker. Hey, Tucker.
It's your favorite man animal, right? I expected it. I wanted it.
America's favorite man animal, Tucker.
Thank you. Hello, Stephen.
I wanted him to say manimal at least once. I was
right?
Constantly annoyed.
It was right fucking there.
It's right there.
But no, I'm pretty sure that's trademarked anyway. It's episode 200, and the gang's all here. Yeah. And of course, you know, as we did for our 100th episode, where we covered the 2017 remake, reboot, failed franchise starter, The Mummy, we are here to talk about another big budget, financial, and critical bomb, pretty much spearheaded, taken over by a member of the Church of Scientology. That's right. For our 200th episode, we have chosen 2000's Roger Christian classic, Battlefield Earth. Directed, as we said, by Roger Christian, written by Corey Mandel and J.D. Shapiro. Fucking Drag Race Central outside my apartment tonight. I apologize for that in advance. I have a feeling that won't be the last time you hear it. And starring John Travolta, Barry Pepper, Forrest Whitaker, Kim Coates, Sabine Carcenti, Richard Tyson, Kelly Preston, and many, many others. What a cast. Dare I say it, though it pains me to do so. Gentlemen, what a picture.
What the fuck is Forrest Whitaker doing in this movie?
That, I think, that's really the first question we need to answer is, what the fuck is Forrest Whitaker doing in this movie?
I will add to that question and say, what the fuck is Forrest Whitaker doing in this movie if he can't get on John Travolta's level in this movie?
Here's the thing. He can. He just knows what he's doing.
Yes, I know.
I know, but here's my favorite thing about the trivia section on IMDb for this movie. The very first piece of trivia, Forrest Whitaker expressed his regret for participating in this movie. I bet he did.
Yeah.
I bet he did.
He didn't seem like he was having a good time. John Travolta, on the other hand, wow.
John Travolta's having too good a time in this movie.
And you know what? This movie sucks. This movie sucks hard, and I'm going to give it a very low rating.
Same.
But every time John Travolta was on the screen, I was like, yes, let's fucking do this.
See, and I had the exact opposite reaction, like viscerally so.
This movie gets a DNF for me, unfortunately.
A what now?
DNF did not finish.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the Brett Wright, I didn't watch it canon.
And that is his right.
Right, look, it is. Right up there with Food Fight.
Gods of Egypt.
Gods of Egypt, yep. It's the pantheon of I can't be bothered anymore.
I feel like there was a recent one, too, that you just didn't bother to finish.
No.
Weeks. Was there not?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think I might have mentioned that I was real close to turning off Existo.
Yeah, but then it totally redeemed itself.
It did, yeah. And then it kicks in, and I was like, okay, now I get what this movie is, and I was all about it. But like, it was real close.
He starts
Maybe.
bouncing on that glowy ball, being all like "fucking A," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
I was like, what the
yeah,
fuck
okay."
am I watching? I don't want to watch this anymore. But I gave
Brett's
it about
like,
10 more minutes.
I will not abide spitting the bishop, sir. There are children present.
For
My
anybody
inner
out there
child.
watching Existo, give it about 10 more minutes after the point where you don't want to watch it anymore, and it gets real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that may be what you were thinking of, yes.
Maybe. I feel like there was a recent. I didn't bother. But yeah, so this joins the Brett Wright pantheon of movies for this podcast that he just couldn't be fucked to finish. Really,
No.
Because it doesn't deserve my time. Really.
I mean,
sometimes
yeah.
look, I've done 200 episodes, of which I've maybe done 150. But you know, it's like I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, dude.
You're not announcing your retirement, are you?
My retirement from life.
No, Brett, no.
No. I mean, I'm too old. I'm too old and tired for this shit to to put up with a movie like this. Like, you know, I can still talk about a movie that I haven't seen all of.
That's how
I've seen enough of it.
As we've mentioned, you've done it before.
I have. Sometimes I have hidden the fact that I did not finish a movie.
Correct.
Not because I didn't like it, but just because I didn't have time. And I was like, well, I still got to record, so I'll just pretend like I saw the whole movie. And most of the time it works. Most of the time Steven could not tell.
Well, Brett, at least...
This is where it was kind of obvious.
At least you have the good sense to not finish the film. There was a time that we had our friend JP Leck on, and he was finishing it on his phone probably for the first 20 minutes of the podcast. Do you remember that, Steven? For Return of Captain Invincible?
Oh, right.
He was watching it. He's like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. All right, I finished watching it like 20 minutes in.
Right.
Wow. Okay, no, I've never done that.
Yeah.
Yet.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
I don't have that kind of attention span. Like, I could not do that. I couldn't do that.
No, so, I could never.
I would just log into the recording and go, all right, guys, I missed the last 20 minutes. What happens?
I would text the group, say, I'm running late. I have to finish this damn thing. That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
But,
so,
you know.
Yeah. So this movie lives up to its reputation.
You know what? I walked into this going, it cannot possibly be as bad as advertised. It cannot possibly be as terrible as the entire world has made it seem. And it's somehow worse.
Yeah. It was.
It's somehow worse.
It was.
For me, at times...
I really don't. It's paradoxical almost.
For me, at times, it was a good, bad movie. That's the fun I had with this movie, was specifically John Travolta's performance, how absurd everything was, and like nothing made sense.
But that means that ultimately there's no stakes when like everything's nonsensical. Like there's no stakes. There's nothing to really invest me or ground me in this movie. It's just bunch of nonsense shit, and I don't like it.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah,
but I
aggressively bad.
Maybe had a little bit of fun watching it, and I will admit here in public that I did not get bored. It sucked, but in a way that was interesting. I was like, "This is wow." Bored. I've never experienced something that has sucked in this way before. I must study it. Yeah,
I must know.
Right. Yeah. No, so I almost I don't agree, but I almost agree with you, Tucker. Because I see there's moments where you're like, is this what the movie is supposed to be? And then it's quickly gone in a flash, as if it never existed. And it's back to the shit again.
Right, and that's kind of the weird thing about it is you almost wonder, like, did they set out to do this? but then and Travolta's performance makes you think they absolutely did set out to make a terrible movie, but then like something will happen or someone will like actually give a serious line reading and you're like, wait, what? And then you realize like this is Travolta's love letter to his religion. Like this is one of those, for Travolta anyway, this is like a faith-based movie. And like, oof, if true, wild if true. Let's just say that. But yeah, good heavens, that's damn.
I thought it was a tour de force of absurdity.
It was a turd of something.
Yeah. Exactly.
What I'm saying is this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but not like high up on the list. Maybe in the top 50 somewhere.
Okay.
But it's, I don't know. There's something. It just sucks. Like I said, in a way I've never seen before, and that interests me. I'm saying I might watch this movie again at some point in my life. Before I didn't watch it because of how bad it obviously was. But now that I've been forced to watch it, I might look at it again. Not because it's good, but because it's so bad in such a unique way. Yeah, for research, for science, you guys. For fucking science. Bad movie science. I'm a straight up scientist, you guys. A researcher.
And this thing is such a product of the late 90s, early 2000s. Like everything's got like that blue-green film over it, like that made sense for the Matrix, but then everyone's like, this will make our movie look cool, so let's put this on here.
Oh, it looks awful.
Every angle is a Dutch angle. Literally every shot is a fucking Dutch angle. It makes no sense. And then every transition is like a just like a barn door wipe, like a center wipe. And they
trying to Star Wars.
Well, but Lucas changed it up. Like he made it different. He didn't do the same wipe every fucking time.
Yeah, there were different ones for sure.
Yeah, I was reminded of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's doing, I think, the dating video for Flanders, and he makes every wipe a star wipe. At least it's like, Dad, there are other types of wipes other than a star wipe. And Homer's like, yeah, but why transition if you're not going to transition in style? At least like, I'm taking my name off of this.
That's fair.
And I feel like that should have been what the editor on this movie said, is I'm taking my name off of this because, oh boy, it real bad.
The editing, speaking of the editing, was atrocious. That was the one thing that threatened to kind of harshen my good time with how bad this was, is because the editing was just so aggressively bad to where it almost gave me a headache at some points. Where you'd have a conversation with two people and you go back and forth for sure, but like they're going back and forth so fast and it doesn't make sense when they're cutting or why they're cutting, and it'll cut to a weird angle for no reason, and it's it hurts. It's Bohemian Rhapsody levels of bad, and somehow they won an Oscar for that shit.
Yeah. I mean, if it weren't already evident that an Oscar could be bought, I think that would be your best indication.
That's the one that convinced me. Yes.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein's miracle run in the late 90s, early 2000s. Shakespeare in Love beating Saving Private Ryan is what convinced me. But
yeah.
Like Oscars can be purchased if that movie can beat that movie,
Yeah, it's a bunch of old white dudes talking about movies with other old white dudes. Of course they can be bought.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Truth.
Deepest Pockets wins.
Yeah, dude.
So this movie, based on a 1982 novel by one L. Ron Hubbard, who you might know as the founder of the Church of Scientology, was a kind of a pulp sci-fi writer in the 1940s, wrote for a lot of pulp magazines. And then he wrote a book called Dianetics in the meantime, which is kind of the founding text of, I don't want to call it the scripture of Scientology, because I don't think that's what they would call it. But wrote Dianetics in the 1950s, and then basically, and a lot of people would widely agree it was for tax purposes, rebranded the whole thing as a religion, and created the Church of Scientology, which is a fairly dominant and powerful force in Hollywood, at least. Several prominent entertainers belong to the religion, including Tom Cruise and the aforementioned John Travolta, just to name two. There are, of course, many, many others as well.
Not Forrest Whitaker, though.
Not Forrest Whitaker, or Barry Pepper.
No. I like
or
Barry
this film's director, Roger Christian. His name is Christian. He directed a movie about Scientology, and he's a Buddhist. Go figure.
That's
Didn't
weird.
he direct a bunch of Christmas movies, though?
Roger Christian?
Yeah.
Straight up maybe, dude. Let's take a look at Roger Christian's filmography, because it was surprisingly dense. Like, I was surprised that it was as long as it was. Like, he started out as an art director, a set decorator. He worked on a little movie called Star Wars. Ever heard of it?
The Star Wars, yeah.
Star Wars. He was the set decorator on Star Wars. Was a second unit or assistant director on The Phantom Menace. Like, so he's done some work with Georgie Porgy Lucas. And then films he's directed. The Sender is his first feature in 1982. Lorca and the Outlaws. Arcadia Election Day. There's a Nostradamus biopic that he made with, is that Pete Postlethwaite? No, it's not Pete Postlethwaite. It's Shaky Cario. But that movie also has Rutger Hauer, F. Murray Abraham, Amanda Plummer, and Michael Goff. So there you go. That's a thing that he directed. The Final Cut in 95, Underworld in 96. No, not that Underworld. A Patrick Stewart film called Masterminds in 97.
Hey, I've seen that movie. It's Die Hard, but a kid in a school.
I've heard of this movie.
I went to the movie theater to see it, and I loved it when I saw it. And you know what?
The kid is Vincent Kartheiser from Mad Men and Buffy. Or no, sorry, Angel.
Dude, you know what? Completely unrelated, but I'm sure tangents are welcome. But I watched Matinee last night and realized that one kid is Omri Katz. That's Marshall from Erie, Indiana, dude.
Dude, well, I mean, it makes sense that Dante would want to work with them.
Yeah. Have you watched your Matinee 4K yet, Steven?
Not yet, no.
Watch it. It's so good. It looks so good.
I bet. I can only imagine.
Sound on 2.0, though. Sounds better.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have a 5.1 system.
I don't.
2.1 it then, dude. Or 2.0 it, dude.
Okay. I can do that.
Remember these words.
And then after that, he takes a little break. American Daylight, Bandito, Dangerous Intuition, which is a TV movie, Stranded, Prisoners of the Sun, and Joseph and Mary, which there's that Christmas movie with Kevin Sorbo as Joseph. Good God.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was a cursed link I just clicked right there. Which was the
future episode of Christianity Corner.
God, I hope not.
Yes. Please.
But yeah, it's he seems to. I mean, this is probably the most well-known movie he's ever directed, which says a lot. Like, he's directed a lot of things, but this is the best-known thing he's directed. Did anyone read who Travolta first offered the movie to?
Who dat?
No.
It would have been
Scorsese.
A damn sight better. No, Tarantino.
No, dude. No.
And Tarantino took one look at the script and said, "What the fuck? No. Fuck you. No. John, come on. No. Johnny, you I love you, man, but like, no.
Unless you send me some feet pics.
Ooh, well, in that case.
And well, here's the thing: Travolta, to get this movie made, Travolta probably would have done. Shortly after the novel comes out, Hubbard pretty much starts working on a movie right away. Apparently, there was some specious means by which the book landed on the bestseller list. There was apparently and this is all public knowledge, or at least public theory. But apparently there was
Rumor.
a conjecture, perhaps a massive book buying campaign orchestrated by the church to buy, like, they, in some cases, people coming in and buying like 800 units, like individually for one person. Oftentimes they were purchased and then given out at like the Church of Scientology centers when people would come in for their thetan readings and what have you. So like, they basically bought them all up because they knew that if a certain number of units were purchased or moved within a certain amount of time, it was more likely that they would be able to land a movie deal, which they did.
That's smart and
I mean,
legal.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
If you have the means to do so, why would you not do so?
Yeah.
But yeah, there was, Hubbard himself wrote a screenplay, really wanted to do the movie. Basically, from the time the novel was published until he died, he was trying to get the movie made.
When did he die?
He died in 1986.
Oh.
He went so far as to have a 30-foot high inflatable turtle placed outside placed on Hollywood Boulevard in 1984 to try to like get people interested in funding the production. Is a wild thing. He died at the age of 74.
He hung in there.
He did.
If you would like to know more about L. Ron Hubbard, I'd like to say go check out the Last Podcast on the Left series on L. Ron Hubbard. It's fascinating and hilarious.
I would also recommend the South Park Scientology episode, which is also enlightening and hilarious.
I don't have a recommendation.
All right, cool story, bro.
Yeah.
So he dies in 86. The movie kind of falls apart. John Travolta, who has been a part of the Church of Scientology since the 70s.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 75.
Okay.
Is apparently when he joins the Church of Scientology.
I didn't know it had been around that long.
Yeah,
when did it start?
Dianetics was written in 52. Isn't
that their midichlorians? Like they're...
That you're thinking of thetans.
There you go.
That's the thetan readings and auditing and all that stuff. Yeah. Xenu is like the evil god thing. Mm-hmm. Again, I know I've studied a lot of religions, but I've not done a lot with Scientology. But it looks like 1954 is when the Church of Scientology was founded. Yeah.
Wowzers. That's wild. I had no idea.
Well, there you go, man.
Hey, at least they're not white supremacists.
I mean, there's a number of other things that they're doing wrong, but that's not one of them.
That's not one of them. I'm sorry, I just watched Waco.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you guys. So when I was that happened when I was a kid. So like there's a lot of terms that I've heard. Like I know what a branch Davidian is. Well, I don't know what it is, but I've heard that term. I've heard the name David Koresh, and I know that Waco was a big deal. And so going into the series, I know nothing. And man, it's fucked up. You guys should watch it. Your boy Zod is in it. It's real
Terrence
good.
Stamp?
No, Zod. From The Man of Steel.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, dude.
Zod 2.0.
And our boy from True Detective Season 2, Taylor Kitsch, is
John
David
Carter.
Koresh.
Gambit.
And he's amazing.
Hashtag not my...
You guys. It's so good. And it's so upsetting. It's good television. I'm saying check it out. Check it out, you guys.
This has been a mini episode of What Are We Watching? Because
just a little bit.
Tucker, we don't have time to record those these days because we're all so busy. But Tucker just is. It's like it's all backed up in his brain, and he just can't help but like let it like spill out all over the place because he's
Anytime I can find an in, like a decent transition that makes sense into something I watched recently.
He's talking about a cult. I watched a movie about a cult. Shit, let me talk about it. Let's talk about it right fucking now. Travolta, and then so after a stint of popularity in the 70s, Travolta kind of falls out of favor in Hollywood, only to have his career
But Look Who's Talking
finalized in 1994 by Quentin Tarantino in the film Pulp Fiction.
But Look Who's Talking.
It's the baby, right?
Yeah, but John Travolta.
And he sound like Bruce Willis?
Yeah, but John Travolta was in that, and that was like before his big comeback. So like he was still around, and like he was in some other shit too.
He was. The thing I remember most about the first Look Who's Talking is Travolta in that movie is him singing "Town Without Pity," and that's pretty fun. I like. Let's take a look at what Travolta's up to in the intervening years.
Let's take a look at Look Who's Talking. I need to revisit that movie for sure.
Unfortunately, that movie got 2 sequels, Tucker. 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. And the second film is pretty all right. I remember enjoying that.
That one, it's the baby sound like Roseanne.
Yeah.
And then the third movie, the dogs are Danny DeVito and Diane Keaton.
I don't know.
No, that's right. That's right.
No, I believe that.
I've seen the movie. That's true.
I totally believe you, dude.
I watched those in the midst of my my Amy Heckerling watch through in 2020 when I did, all the movies.
That time Steven watched all those movies in 2020. That's like the centerpiece on the disenfranchised bingo card.
No,
it's Steven's religious upbringing. That's the centerpiece.
That's the free space. Yeah,
that's the free space.
So Travolta first gains notoriety in the early 70s in a little film called Carrie. Brian De Palma's Carrie. Before that, though, he was on a little television show called Welcome Back, Kotter, which started the same year he joined Scientology, 1975.
Hey, are you saying there's some kind of
Mr. Kotter?
Mr. Kotter.
Are you saying there's some kind of link between that? Like maybe like the reason he got famous was because he became a Scientologist? Are you saying?
That's not what I'm saying, but you seem to be saying that.
No, I'm saying, are you implying that could be a
possibility? A conspiracy theory you've got there.
I just stated a fact.
How deep does this go?
He was good in that show, though. So
he was. And he was good in Carrie. Apparently, he was also very good in the 1976 film Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
I didn't see that.
And then he's off to the races. Saturday Night Fever in 77, Grease in 78, Urban Cowboy in 1980.
Oh my God, Urban Cowboy's so good, you guys. It's on my Vudu. Watch it.
Blowout in 81.
Oh, goddamn.
I fucking love Blowout.
It's so good.
Blowout's amazing.
Like, I was expecting it, but then you said it, and I thought about it, and I just need to take a breath because it's so good.
I mean, the Travolta De Palma collaborations are particularly great.
I've only recently watched that, so it's kind of fresh. I've only recently had my mind blown by that movie, so I apologize for reacting so aggressively. But
it's fucking worth it, dude. That's a
golly
appropriate reaction to that film.
So good.
The movie that was #1 the week I was born, Sylvester Stallone's 1983 Staying Alive.
Yeah, dude.
And then it gets kind of iffy. There's Two of a Kind, also in 83, Perfect in 1985, a TV movie called Basements in 87, The Experts in 89. He does do Look Who's Talking in 1989.
There he is.
Talking To in 1990. In between something called Chains of Gold.
Was that Kirstie Alley that was in Look Who's Talking with him?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. It was the two of them, and then the baby. I don't know if you know this or not. The baby was voiced by Bruce Willis.
Yeah, dude. Bruce Willis. Yeah.
And then George Siegel is the father of Bruce Willis in that movie.
Fantastic.
The late great George Siegel. Also in that movie, Abe Vigoda.
Fuck yeah. Can't go wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Can't go.
Look Who's Talking. Revisit it, everybody.
He is in the made-for-TV movie, future episode of this podcast, Boris and Natasha, playing a character named, let me just see if I'm getting this right, John Travolta.
Yeah, you guys, I like that movie.
Future
when are we doing that one? Is it soon? Is it on the schedule at least?
It's on the schedule.
And is it pretty close to The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle with Robert De Niro?
It's the week before.
Oh, and it's soon?
It's soonish. Soon enough.
I'm looking at the calendar right now. Keep going.
Tucker, are you going to have to change your pants?
No, I'm going to turn off my mic as I react to seeing how soon it is to now. Because
Probably not
I'm so excited.
You're liking. So a lot, made for TV movies that no one's ever heard of, movies that do not exist. Before 94, we have Pulp Fiction, Get Shorty in 95, in between a weird movie called White Man's Burden with Harry Belafonte, where it's like, what if someone could be racist against white people? Which,
future episode of the podcast.
Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not. Under no circumstance.
Double feature with Putney Swope.
Oh, God. Broken Arrow and Phenomenon and Michael in 96. She's so
the Angel movie, right?
Yeah, Face Off, Mad City in 97. Mike Nichols' Primary Colors in 98. The Thin Red Line.
Late 90s renaissance after Pulp Fiction. I remember that very distinctly.
Yeah, he becomes one of the biggest celebrities in the country. And then we hit 2000 with Battlefield Earth and Lucky Numbers. The Nora Ephron.
Lucky Numbers was fun.
It's
with Lisa Kudrow.
Exactly.
That's
where he plays a meteorologist. And then the year after that, we have Swordfish in 2001. And then I feel like after that, he's pretty much just like kind of done. He does Basic in 2003, The Punisher in 2004, which is
when does he do the
podcast?
When does he do The General's Daughter?
General's Daughter is 99, the year before this. It's the last movie he does before this one.
I didn't hear you mention that. I apologize. That's a really
I didn't mention it. I stopped.
I forgot he was the main villain of the good Punisher movie, as I refer to it as.
Yeah,
with Thomas Jane.
We're gonna cover all 3 Punisher movies at some point.
Oh fuck yeah,
Thomas Jane. Look forward to it. I
quite
enjoy that.
Thomas Jane, Ray. What's his Ray?
That other guy who looks old. Yeah.
I mean, he dead now.
War Journal was bad.
But yeah, I got blocked on Twitter by the director of that movie.
Nice.
Yeah. For doing for following a film critic.
Yeah, well.
And then I mean mid 2000s, it's ladder 49, it's Be Cool, it's Lonely Hearts, Wild Hogs, Hairspray, Bolts, the remake of Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, where he's got that weird goatee thing.
Yeah.
Old Dogs, just a series of increasingly bad decisions, I guess is what we could probably call Travolta's 2000s run. Although 2016, In the Valley of Violence, great movie.
Oh yeah, that is a really good movie.
My favorite Ty West film.
It's up there for sure.
Which may be a controversial opinion, but there you go.
No, I don't think it's a hot take.
Okay. But yeah, definitely my favorite of his. But then recently he's been like Gotti and The Fanatic, just doing some really.
Fred Durst directed that movie.
He did.
Yeah.
I saw the TV Glow's Fred Durst. Yeah.
Yeah. Population 436's Fred Durst, his best role. You guys see it. It's got Jeremy Sisto in it, which I know that makes you not want to see it, but trust me, it's good.
It's like you can read my mind and know. I'm like, Jeremy Sisto, peace.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
I think the best thing I've ever seen Jeremy Sisto in is 6 Feet Under.
Yeah.
That show rules.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I mean, this is Travolta pretty much at the height of his power, kind of cashing in on his like 5-year run of like solid box office hits as being one of the biggest leading men in Hollywood to make this L. Ron Hubbard movie a thing. And so, yeah, he's basically like, if I don't do what I want to do with all this power, what good is it? You could say he knows mad with power.
And he knows that it can go away just as quickly, too. He's got to strike while the iron is hot.
Right.
You know, because he was a big deal in the 70s and the early 80s, but he dropped off there for a while, like we had just discussed.
Mm-hmm. So he knows how fragile and fleeting that fame can be.
So you gotta do the thing that you want to do when you have the chance to do it.
If you had one moment, one opportunity to have everything you ever wanted, would you capture it or just let it slip?
I'd let it slip. Probably.
I think I already have, honestly.
Those lyrics were mostly correct.
Do I look like the kind of guy who would be able to recite Eminem lyrics perfectly?
All Steven listens to is Eminem. It's his favorite. Steven's the real Slim Shady.
Oh, I better stand up.
Yeah, dude. There he is.
Jesus Christ.
Here I am. Please standing up. So yeah, Travolta pretty much pushes this rock Sisyphus style uphill. The movie is eventually taken over by Franchise Pictures, who basically use it as a tax shelter, which is kind of funny. And that they end up getting like sued into oblivion after the movie comes out because they said the movie was supposed to cost X amount, but it actually cost a significantly lower amount, and so they were basically pocketing all the change. So yeah, they got sued into oblivion for damages after the fact, somehow making sure this movie loses even more money in the process. And like, yeah, the behind the scenes shit on this movie is kind of insane. And I would say a significant amount of the budget went directly to Travolta for his salary to be in this movie, which I think he even took a reduced rate of like, I think his normal fee would have been 20 million, and he's still pocketing a bulk of the funds for this movie regardless. Like Barry Pepper, when he talks about what a disaster this movie was, talks about just kind of how horrible the conditions were. At one point, like the food is practically inedible, and so Travolta just brings in his own personal chef to feed the cast and crew, which good move. I like that.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you're like one of the producers on this thing. Surely you can make sure this is not happening to begin with. But yeah.
Man, what it must be like to be like, I'm gonna make my passion project film, but I'm also going to pay myself an exorbitant amount of money to do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Must be fucking nice.
Yeah.
You gotta get that money up front because it's not like he's gonna get anything off the box office.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Okay.
But I mean,
where's that check?
They fully expected this thing to hit. Like, I think that's how you get people like Forrest Whitaker involved. Is, you know, this is going to be, you know, a big movie. And, you know, looking at the landscape in the 2000s, you have The Phantom Menace out the year before, which the director Roger Christian had worked on as second unit. Like, you have a lot of sci-fi movies making a lot of money at the box office. A lot of these franchises are doing particularly well. And it's that age-old Hollywood thing where if everyone else is doing it, let's us do it as well. And surely we'll make as much money as everyone else is making because this is what people want to see. The thing they often forget, though, is it should probably be well made and have, you know, thought and purpose behind it.
Yeah. Hey, man, those jets, how they fly? They're like 1,000 years old, right? Doesn't jet fuel have like a shelf life?
I mean, don't tell L. Ron Hubbard and the makers of this movie.
Don't try to apply logic to anything in this movie. It'll fall apart like peanut butter.
I don't even think Brett got to the Jets, honestly.
No, I don't remember them. But
they flew jets.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they beat the bad guys with jets.
In 7 days, they trained these cavemen. They trained cavemen to fly fighter jets, Brett, in less than 7 days. We're talking like 5.5 days, probably, if I'm being generous.
Right.
And they were all really, really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they did that, Brett? They found a flight simulator. What's that, Brett? Say that again.
Knowledge machine? Is it pumps knowledge into the brain? Did they use that?
Well, no. You only use
that only works on Barry Pepper.
Yeah.
I don't think to put anybody else in it. That tracks.
Yeah.
No, so they put the cavemen in this flight simulator, Brett, and they figure it out in like less than 7 days. And like, how does this flight simulator still have power? We don't know. How does the jet fuel still work? We don't fucking know. We don't know.
No, and we don't. You know what? We don't need to.
We don't need to.
These are questions the movie doesn't ask. So why the fuck should we?
Oh yeah.
Everything is just happening.
Exactly.
Stuff happens, and then more stuff happens. And John Travolta chews a lot of scenery, and more stuff happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bang bang pew pew.
Does any of it matter? No, not really.
No.
Is any of it explained coherently? No, not at all.
And would we want it to be? I mean, ideally, yes, but sometimes we don't get what we want.
No, we certainly don't.
That's why I'm dreading the plot in 60 seconds, is because I don't know what happened. I watched this movie. I watched the credits, and I don't know really. I can't wrap my head around what happened in this movie.
And folks, I don't know what I'm going to do if the number lands on me. Maybe I make up what happens in the last 45 minutes.
I mean, there's jets.
Hey.
Sure, I got to remember what happens before that, too. I was also asleep. Like, honestly, that's the other thing. Like, I say I stopped it 45 minutes before the end, but I was also asleep for a good maybe 15 to 20 minutes before that.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know, man.
That's wild.
Hope you don't roll me this time around.
I kind of hope I do. I'm not going to lie. Let's since you brought it up, Tucker, let's get into it. The plot in 60 seconds, part of the show where we, at the behest of the D6 of Destiny, recount the plot of the film we are discussing in 60 seconds or less. I've got the D6 of Destiny here. Numbers 1 and 2 are for me, 3 and 4 for Brett, 5 and 6 for Tucker. Let's give it a roll and see what she has in store for us today. Gentlemen, that's a 3. Nope, that's Brett.
Oh, fuck yes.
That is Brett. So, Tucker, why don't you go ahead and put 60 seconds on the clock?
I will put 60 seconds on the official, straight up, what are we? Disenfranchised egg timer. I purchased it. It's this little digital egg timer. And look, if I turn the edge of it, it moves the numbers around. How fucking rad is that? How cool is that? Look at that.
That's pretty rad.
So, Brett, whenever you're ready, just start talking, and I will hit this little button here, and the clock will start ticking down.
Give me a second.
Give him a second. He's researching. He's reading the Wikipedia entry for the end of the movie.
Wikipedia, don't you worry.
Yeah, dude. You got to. If you got to read it, just read it. No big deal.
I mean, let's see how fast you can read it off Wikipedia.
Yeah, dude.
All right, let us begin. In the year 3000 AD, Johnny Goodboy Tyler lives in the Rocky Mountains with a band of cave dwellers. For the demons that rule Earth, Johnny doubts their stories and rides into the lowlands. 200 show him a desolate and overgrown city. While exploring it, he is captured by the demons, a cruel alien species called Cyclos, and taken as a slave to a base in the ruins of Denver. The base is covered with an enormous dome that provides Cyclos with a breathable atmosphere, something they don't explain that well. Johnny shows resourcefulness, drawing the respect of other human slaves in the interest of Turl, the highborn Earth security chief.
30 seconds.
Turl learns some stuff. Gold is valuable. Turl is mad because he's going to get shipped off when he thought he wasn't going to. Some stuff happens. They find Fort Knox. Apparently, that happened.
10 seconds.
The humans launch a revolt. There's jets to combat the cyclo air defenses that they apparently had.
4, 3, 2,
and Johnny gloats.
1.
And
that is time.
cyclo technology to the humans.
You did so well, Brett. Good job.
Good job, buddy.
You showed such a comprehension of the nuances of the story of this film.
Look, I mean, I should have done it off the top of my head. That probably would have been funnier, but I didn't have it in me.
I mean, look, that's fine. I don't know that I would have had it in me to do it off the top of my head, to be quite honest.
Didn't. No, not at all. I need to have the passion for it, like Speed Racer. This I did not.
Speed Racer, one of the greats. I mean, not, but also yes.
I mean, good. The movie and my Plot in 60, but like mostly the movie.
Most of the movie. The movie is fucking great. Yeah, go do that. In fact, don't watch Battlefield Earth. Just go watch Speed Racer.
Fuck no.
I mean, you don't have to do that to yourself. You can show restraint and have self-respect.
Be like me. Be like Brad.
Be like Brad.
Don't watch this fucking movie.
No. Definitely don't be like Steven and watch it 2 days before you have to.
Though, Brett, you did miss the best scene in the whole movie.
Did I?
I think you did, because the best scene in the entire movie is when Forrest Whitaker thinks that he's got John Travolta. Like, he's got the footage of, I don't know what, but apparently it's something that he can use for blackmail. I don't know what's going on in this movie. I have no idea.
No, it doesn't make
But Forrest Whitaker's like, I straight up got you, dude. And then they have that exchange, and they're like walking around, and he's drunk, and that's bravo. When they started laughing at themselves, I laughed with them. It is the peak of the film. It is the reason to watch that movie, is that scene.
I thought the best scene was when they send the cavemen out to like climb the mountain to figure out what their favorite food is. They assume that it must be raw rat, because that's the first food that they eat.
Right.
And they're starving. They're starving and they're cold.
Right. So that's one of those times I was talking about earlier where I was like, is this what this movie is supposed to be? Is it supposed to be a comedy?
Do you want lunch?
Like, is this supposed to be funny? Like the aliens are incompetent, but like not, because like they don't know here. Like, is it supposed to be? Is this what Battlefield Earth could have been?
And that's why
they have a bunch of humans. They have so many humans.
They do.
They could just ask one. Hey, what's your favorite food? Somebody would tell them.
Well, but I mean, I think that's kind of the joke, right? Like they how they're written. Like they think they're so much better than humans. They're going to be able to figure it out. They don't need to ask. They won't stoop so low.
And how come if you can just put a little beam in Johnny Goodboy's head, Johnny Goodboy, if you can just shoot a little beam in his head and he can speak their language, why don't they all just speak human? Because like if there were to be a revolt, then they'd be able to understand what the motherfuckers are saying. And if all it takes is a little beam shot at your head, then you could just learn English.
It's beneath them.
But it's beneficial. See, and that's how I don't understand. I've worked for some shitty companies, but the way that this company is run, I don't know how it exists or thrives at all. Because everybody is backstabbing everybody else. No one is working together. They just do so much stupid shit. I don't know how they thrive.
And
it's like the Ferengi were 7 feet tall, really.
Maybe, look, I'm telling you, maybe this movie was supposed to be a satirical comedy. Like they call it the Home Office, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
like it's such a goofy name for an alien high authority. Like
it is.
It comes off as just goofy, and like I almost wonder if that was intentional.
Well, and I mean, based on what I'm reading here, the Cyclos themselves were supposed to be L. Ron Hubbard's kind of, I guess, indictment against psychology and psychiatry. Like,
in what way?
Yeah, please explain.
Please explain how. Apparently in the book, the Cyclos are ruled by a group called the Catrists, Cyclocatrists, which is supposed to be similar to psychiatrists. And they were basically a group of evil charlatans, essentially. And anyone who opposes them is subject to mind control and electroshock and, you know, all these psychiatric tools that were used in the 50s and shit. But yeah, apparently cyclo is supposed to mean brain in their language. So basically the Catrists treat everyone like mental patients.
You know, it sounds crazy when you say it, looking at it from a modern lens, but if, like you just said, if you go back to the 50s and you think about like lobotomy and electroshock, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Elrond had maybe a point. Like, psychiatry back then was some bullshit.
We've come a long way.
We've come a long way.
You know, I think I figured it out, you guys. I think I figured it out where they went wrong with this. Is instead of making a big budget movie, they should have made a Saturday morning cartoon in the 80s. And this would have sold so many toys. It would have played so well. We'd still be talking about Battlefield Earth.
I'm surprised we didn't have toys when this movie came out. Like it's perfect
worth
toys.
Yeah.
It's toyetic. Is that the term?
Toyetic.
Toyetic. Yeah,
maybe
it's close.
But I would watch this as an 80s Saturday morning cartoon for sure, because like John Travolta is ripped right out of that. His character he's just really evil, and there's nothing else to his character except that he's an evil piece of shit. That's his one personality trait.
He's not even terribly convincing at it, because I don't buy him as a terror. I don't buy him as scary, because
he's incompetent. Like
so fucking goofy that I'm not. At no point can I see why any of these characters would perceive him as a threat.
Well, do you remember the Shredder in the '87 Turtles?
Yeah, I mean, just any 80s or early 90s cartoon villain.
They're all buffoons. Cobra's a fucking buffoon. Like
Primeval from the OG Ghostbusters.
Buffoon.
Skeletor.
Buffoon. Yes.
Like, it's just terrible. Fucking,
but at least they looked scary.
That's true.
Travolta in this movie don't look scary at all.
Oh, look at that! There was Battlefield Earth toys. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we do have some Battlefield Earth toys that were made for this movie. I don't think any of them sold. It strikes me as kind of one of those where you've got like tons and tons of stock left over at like a CVS or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, ET video game of movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, all your favorite characters: Johnny Goodboy, Kerr, Turl. Yeah, there's a Forrest Whitaker action figure here.
Oh, that might be the only chance I have to have Forrest Whitaker an action figure for. Who wouldn't want that?
I'm sure there's one of his character from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, probably.
Saw Gerrera.
I'd buy a Ghost Dog action figure.
I mean, fuck yeah, Ghost Dog rules, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. What the fuck are you doing in this movie, dude? What? Honestly, though.
Not enough. He kind of disappointed me in this. Like, I wanted him to be the best part of this movie because I wanted him.
He should have been.
Well, he's got the kind of integrity that he's going to take any project seriously. I just don't think that I don't think this was a project that he really understood, I guess, in the way that John Travolta did.
This reeks of paycheck movie to me.
Yeah, but you don't see Forrest Whitaker doing that really.
No, but I mean, he should.
Have you seen The Crying Game, Steven?
I've seen parts of The Crying Game. I've not seen the entirety. So.
Don't doubt that man's integrity ever.
Look, I'm just saying anyone can do a paycheck movie, and I would not begrudge them their ability to do a paycheck movie. Like, everyone's got to make money, particularly if they're working in this industry, this film industry that is ridiculous in terms of excess at times. Like, make the money if you can. Absolutely. And I'm certainly not going to begrudge Forrest Whitaker or anybody for taking a paycheck movie. But that does kind of seem like what this is for him.
That's fair, Steven. I concede. Yeah.
Just a favor. But also, he just also been doing a favor for somebody.
That's true. I don't know if he had any prior working relationship with Roger Christian. I mean, again, he seemed pretty adamantly or seemed pretty embarrassed by this movie.
Also, how many stories do we hear of actors who were given one script when they agreed, and then it turned into something completely different when they filmed it, and maybe that's why he's saying he regretted it.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they could
entirely
have
possible.
they may have pitched this hard to him, like, and he might have been like, "Yeah, this looks fucking rad," and then he does it, and he's like, "No, that was actually shit.
Yeah,
I was bamboozled."
I mean, he does in '96. He is in the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta, so that could just be one of those like, "Hey, you want to make a movie with me?" kind of things.
Maybe
I mean, because this feels like Travolta just calling in all the favors, which may be why after this movie is over, this movie is cooked. Maybe that's why he's done, is because no one owes him any more favors because he used them all up on this one.
That's all the favors.
You don't get any more. Sorry, dude.
No. Hey, why haven't we gotten any more John Travolta in Tarantino movies? Because we've gotten more Uma Thurman and we've gotten more Tim Roth. We've gotten more Samuel L. Jackson.
Probably because Travolta offered him this.
No, but like, not counting the whole Vega Brothers thing, which I would have loved to have seen.
Sure.
Not counting that, but who, like, thinking of Quentin Tarantino's films after Pulp Fiction, who would he be in any of that stuff? I guess he could have been like Ray Nicolette in Jackie Brown.
Right. But I don't want anyone but Michael Keaton to do that.
No, I agree. Yeah, for sure. And he was the same character in Out of Sight, which is a really good movie with George Clooney and J-Lo.
Right. I love that you put the emphasis on the low. That warmed my cockles. Thank you.
Well, she's from the block, so
I understand.
Got to put the right emphasis on the correct syllables.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Travolta, dude. I don't know. But here's the thing. Like, I agree. I don't know where he fits in any other Tarantino project. Like, do you throw him in Hateful Eight as somebody?
Probably. Like, I mean, look, we can talk shit about Travolta all day, but he's got the chops.
Boy,
he's proven it. He has proven that he can fucking act his pants off. He doesn't always do it.
No.
But
he is a guy who can phone it in. And sometimes even when he's trying, you're like, dude, what are we doing? I would say The Fanatic is a good example of that.
I would say he's also given some kind of iconic performances as well.
Agreed. Like, I mean, Pulp Fiction's a great example. Face Off, another great example. Like, there's some great Travolta performances. Don't get me wrong. This is not one of them.
But this is an iconic performance, but not in the good way.
Correct.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that I think it is actually very iconic because he really is leaning into it. Like, I feel like he's giving this his all. And that's what makes it so much more enjoyable, that it's so just ridiculous. And like, to see this man, like, he's so into this that he's going to give this performance, and like, he's really going for it. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm way into it. I'm way into his performance in this movie. It's bad, but in just the best way. Every time he's on screen, I'm like, yeah. Can we get more Travolta? Can he say some silly shit real quick and like get mad about something or fuck somebody over or some shit? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And his performance is, again, just one of the things that just rings hollow to me in this movie. Like, one of the many things that rings hollow to me in this movie.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that for the same reason that you don't like it, I'm having a fantastic time with it. I am agreeing with you that it is terrible, for sure.
I mean, honestly, I do understand on some level what you're saying is the fact that he's the only one in this movie with any kind of juice.
Yeah.
Like he's the only one that really is giving anything, which does make him on some level compelling to watch. It's just the compulsion is mixed with revulsion for me.
I also thought that dude that tells him he's going to be there for even longer, like his boss or whatever that comes to visit.
Yeah.
I thought that guy was real fucking good. Like, ooh, I hated that guy. He was such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That guy was fantastic. I
That
don't know who that was, but
that scene is the one that made me think of the Ferengi in particular. Like all these guys sitting around talking about business and screwing each other over for corporate interests. That is the actor's name is Michael McCrae. He plays District Manager Zeet, I think is
what do I know him from?
He is in his IMDb top 4 Battlefield Earth, Summer School, Masterminds, and 3 episodes of MacGyver.
Yeah.
Wherein he plays 3 completely different characters.
His character's name is District Manager, really?
Yes.
God damn.
With
That's such
with
a
that
funny
performance,
concept. So, like, aliens have this office-based hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
you have to answer to HR if you're not careful.
That's some Bogon shit, is what that is.
Yeah.
Yes, from Hitchhiker's Guide for sure.
This guy does not have a particularly dense filmography. This Michael McCrae guy, it's mostly TV and some TV movies. So
he understood the assignment and he brought his A game to that role because he was fucking despicable. Despicable.
Yeah.
Like I even felt sorry for. I'm sorry. I even felt sorry for John Travolta's character for a second, and that guy sucks. But other dude was laying it on so thick, I was like, "Fuck, man, calm down. Like, ease off a bit." Like,
but look, if Travolta had known that woman was the senator's daughter. ... Fill
I
in the
also
blank.
appreciated that kind of throwaway line. That was a comedy line. What was that doing in that movie?
Yeah, that's
they
what
play
I'm
it
talking
seriously.
about.
That was hilarious.
A comedy all along. Like
Inconsistent tone. I don't know. The inconsistencies again are kind of one of the things that get me in this.
I want this to be a comedy so bad.
Oh, I gotta watch it again. I can't wait.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I don't know why you'd want to.
Science. We talked about this.
Yeah. Sure. Barry Pepper is the lead. Originally, Travolta wanted to play the lead himself, but then by the time he actually got to make the movie, was too old.
That's old.
He old as fuck.
Man, I love Barry Pepper. He good as hell in Enemy of the State.
He's good in just about anything he does. I really dig Barry Pepper. Yeah.
No notes, Barry Pepper.
I dig Barry Pepper. The last thing I think I saw him in was Crawl, the alligator movie. He's fucking great in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say what happened to the man? I haven't seen him in a while.
He honestly does a lot of independent film. He is in future episode of this podcast, The Lone Ranger. So there is that. He chose to do the Maze Runner series instead of one of the more lucrative YA franchises.
I don't know. How many Maze Runner movies? There was 3, weren't there?
3, yeah. He's in 2 of the 3.
Lucrative enough.
He's in the Coen Brothers' True Grit in 2010.
He is.
He's in Clint Eastwood's Flags of Our Fathers. He plays Tom Ripley in the movie Ripley Underground. He's in the Will Smith film 7 Pounds. Like, the man works and has worked consistently. It's just like his kind of miracle run is over in the 90s. He does and it's short-lived too. He does Saving Private Ryan in 98, Enemy of the State also in 98.
Ooh, I love that
Green
one.
Mile in 99, and this in 2000. And that's after that, it's like We Were Soldiers in 2022, Spike Lee's 25th Hour also in 2022, or 2002 rather. Sorry, both of those 2002. Flags of Our Fathers in 2006, 7 Pounds in 2008. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in 2009.
Oh, he was in Lonesome Dove, though.
He was in Lonesome Dove, though. Like, but again, man just works. He is in the TV miniseries Titanic from 96, the year before the Cameron movie comes out. He does an episode of the show Sliders, does an episode of the show Highlander, does an episode of the show Mantis.
Oh.
So, I mean, man works.
Yeah,
And I know he's been up for like Independent Spirit Awards and things like that. Like he does tend to do good work when he does work. The problem is he just hasn't done a lot. He played Bobby Kennedy in the TV series The Kennedys, for which he won an Emmy.
Oh, I'll bet his Boston accent's really good.
Oh, it's got to be, right?
He looks like a guy who would do a good Boston accent. I don't know how to explain that, but he does.
He ultimately goes on to win the 2001 Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor for Battlefield Earth. And days after, he told The Guardian, "I wish somebody had invited me to the ceremony. I would have gone and accepted it. That would have been so much fun."
Yeah. Him and Halle Berry, right?
Man and Sandra Bullock.
Did she accept hers too?
She did. She brought copies of the movie to give to everybody in attendance because they clearly didn't understand the movie.
Because fuck them. Fuck the Razzies.
Right. Exactly. Seriously, fuck the Razzies. This movie won 7 of the 8 Razzies it was nominated for. The only one it didn't win was Worst Supporting Actor for Forrest Whitaker, because that award was already won by Barry Pepper. But it wins. I have the awards pulled up here. Worst Picture, Worst Actor for John Travolta for both this and Lucky Numbers. It wins Worst Supporting Actor for Barry Pepper, who beat out Forrest Whitaker for the same movie. Worst Supporting Actress, Kelly Preston in Battlefield Earth, which rude.
She didn't do it. I mean, she's
fine. In one scene.
Yeah.
And literally, it's not even a supporting role. It's more of a cameo than anything else. Yeah. Worst Screen Couple for John Travolta and anyone sharing the screen with him in Battlefield Earth.
I like the bartender.
Worst Director, Roger Christian, and worst screenplay, 7 of the 8 that it was nominated for, it won.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good
so
job,
there you
everybody.
Go. That's the fucking golden raspberries. There you go.
You beat a dead horse. You kicked a movie while it was down. Congratulations, Razzies. Right.
Yeah.
You fucking did it.
Picked the lowest hanging fruit imaginable.
Or right up there with Cinema Sins on YouTube in terms of his shitty content.
I do want to mention that there was a jazz album that accompanied the release of the novel Battlefield Earth.
Really?
Called Space Jazz.
Can I hear that? Can I listen to that right now? And by right now, I mean like when we're done.
It might be on Spotify.
Jazz? I don't Spotify.
But
Space Jazz is called Jizz.
Touche.
Space Jazz, L. Ron Hubbard?
Yep, that's it.
I've got it. It's here.
Chick Corea and Stanley Clark, who are 2 Scientologists, played on the album.
I'm listening to this, you guys. I'm going to report back.
The reviewer,
maybe a special episode.
One reviewer from the Vinyl Factory said of it, "If this isn't one of jazz's worst, it's certainly its craziest."
Oh, I am intrigued. I cannot. You guys, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna keep these headphones on, which I've had on for almost over 3 hours now, because I watched the movie right before we started recording, and I watched it with these headphones on. I'm gonna keep them on, and I'm gonna listen to that.
Please report back with your findings.
Right.
Do more science.
I'm the science guy.
She blinded me with science.
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 Science. Wow. Miss Yakamoto, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, it comes out in.
Hold on.
Wait. Wow.
Are we doing it?
You would not.
There is a video game.
You would not believe what I'm about to fucking tell you.
Oh shit!
I told you, dude.
Let me take you on a fascinating trip over to the video game corner.
Yes.
Yes. We haven't been in so long. Tucker's video game corner is not nearly as well stocked as Brett's.
Was
No.
fucking wild. So it doesn't. what year did this come out? Let me check that.
In the year 2000.
It doesn't say. That's
If
weird.
man is still alive. Oh wait, that's different.
In the year 2000.
Yeah, I'm not sure what year this came out, but it's on PS5 and Xbox Series X. It must have been recently, which is even more fascinating.
No. No.
So they basically, there is a series, video game series called Battlefield.
Brett.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Tucker.
Okay.
Don't you just wait, buddy. You're in for a treat.
Oh my.
So basically, okay, it was released on PS4 and Xbox One, so it might be a few years old. But anyway, it takes inspiration. So this version of Battlefield, called Battlefield Earth, is based on the novel and the movie ish. So it plays the same as other games in the franchise, with the player shooting and fighting enemies to complete objectives. But this time with laser weapons and knives based on the lightsabers from Star Wars. So after the events of these other Battlefield games, because Battlefield does kind of have a story.
It's a franchise.
After that, drones sent by Volt, a character voiced by John Travolta.
Oh my.
A tyrannical overlord from the planet Cyber Cyclo.
Oh my.
And he's more or less playing Turl, let's be honest, but they named him something different for some reason.
Reasons.
For reasons. Which forces the game's protagonist to fight his way through the planet and take the battle to space with the help of his partner, a woman who crash landed on Earth and leads a resistant force. So, but listen to this voice cast.
The voice cast on this is insane.
Nuts. So Keanu Reeves is the main character, voices the main character. John Travolta has returned.
Somehow, John Travolta has returned.
John Travolta returned. Let's see who else. Karen Gillan is an alien member of the villains race.
Felicity Jones as well.
Felicity Jones. Yuri Lowenthal, the exalted voice actor Yuri Lowenthal. DC Douglas. Jeremy Renner. Taika Waititi. Brie Larson. Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, Tom Hardy. The fuck.
What is this, Brad? Is this
Josh Brolin, Cara Delevingne?
Is this a
Haley
joke?
Atwell?
Where is this? Can I buy this? I don't think I can buy this. I think this is a joke.
Seem real. Like some people need to, come out of the because I'm looking at the box art and it doesn't look real. But
no.
When did these articles come out? Possibly on April 1st.
I don't know, man.
It's very possible. Like I could be finding an old, April 1st, article, but I don't see any other news about it. But that doesn't surprise me. Like, who's talking about the Battlefield Earth game? But it's very possible that I've been bamboozled and this is not real.
I don't believe it, Brett. I don't believe it.
I don't.
It seems too good to be believed, honestly.
But also, I'm glad that we spent time talking about it.
Because I kind of want it to be true.
I do.
So I'm basically reading this off of a fandom wiki. And I couldn't find any other information about it. But like for someone to go through this, this is some fan fiction.
People got time on their hands, Brett.
Right?
Not us, but some people.
We don't have enough time to research whether or not this is accurate or not, and we're not gonna.
Yes, I mean, shout us out if if you know this is real or not.
If we has
If
been bamboozled,
if by some slim chance it's a real thing,
right,
lead us in the right direction, please.
and not into temptation for his name's sake, yay.
Although
No.
now I will say there is that I have discovered an actual game.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying the last one I read was an actual game or not. We're just kind of thinking it might not be.
It's ambiguous at this point.
But this one came out in 1996, bundled with a copy of the book. And it was just a very not well-known PC RPG that not a whole lot of people know much about. Or Visit Adventure game, maybe. There's not a whole lot of information.
Damn. Now that
They're out there, folks.
Well.
So be good, for goodness sake.
The truth.
Whoa, somebody's coming.
Oh wow.
Oh, you guys.
Anyway, it's been a video game corner. Carry on, Steven.
Yeah.
Battlefield Earth opens May 12th in the year 2000. It opens at number 2, grossing in its opening weekend $11.5 million on its way to $21.5 million domestic. It earns over half of its box office in its opening weekend.
Quick,
Big damn yikes.
Quick, Steven, hold on. Do the conversion to today's money.
Oh shit. Did I save that site?
If this did better or worse than Borderlands.
Wait, hey.
Hey.
What was the budget?
The budget was $80 million.
And what did it make, you had said?
Counting the international box office, which, we normally don't do, $29.7 million.
Thank you for repeating that. I apologize. I was still laughing at Brett's very absurd reference that he made there. Yeah, I can't find that. I thought I saved that in my favorites. Did you pull it up, Steven, for the conversion?
Sure didn't.
I remember it being really easy, just Googling, like, straight up, what is it in today's money?
Money converter by year.
There
Inflation
you go.
calculator.
That's the one. Yes. Oh, thank you for dropping that in the chat.
So we go from 2000 to 2024. We're going to go 29 million.
Yeah, well.
Hang on, I put in 200 instead of 2000.
God.
That would be about $53 million in today's money.
Weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, Borderlands grossed $30 million in its entire run. So, and that's in today dollars. So,
and it costs like what?
Future episode of this podcast, Borderlands.
It absolutely will be.
Please, I can't wait to torture myself with that fucking movie.
I don't want to. We're gonna have to go to the video game corner and but we gotta
no, it has to be its own episode.
I was gonna say that sounds like a Oops All video game corner if ever there was one.
I mean, yeah, it will be.
And Brett, you're gonna be doing all the talking because I tried to play a Borderland, and it gave me motion sickness. So I have not played anything in the franchise except for like 10 minutes before I puked.
Sure, and I haven't played all of it, so I'm also not an expert or anything. So.
That's never stopped us before. And it will not stop us going forward.
Fantastic.
Opening at number 1, the weekend that Battlefield Earth, a saga of the year 3000, comes out. In its second weekend, it's Ridley Scott's Gladiator, future Academy Award winner. So we've got the Academy Award winner for Best Picture and the Razzie Award winner for Worst Picture at the number 1 and number 2 spots in the box office this weekend.
Now, if I can just interject real quick and say that I worked at the movie theater when all these movies came out. So instead of saying that for every film, I'm just going to say it right now, and it can just be implied that I cleaned out a movie theater while the credits to all these films were playing.
Okay. In third place, it's U571.
That's a boat movie. I don't like boat movies, Steven.
We were aware. You've made
I
that
don't like that
abundantly
shit.
clear. Despite the fact that some of those movies fucking rip.
That's what I've heard.
How do you feel about submarine movies, though?
It's worse than a boat movie because it's even further in the water, dude.
Dude, but what's
the difference between what if the movie takes place on a boat, but it's not a boat movie?
I could probably let that slide.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean, Ghost Ship, the horror movie Ghost Ship.
I liked the first 15 minutes of Ghost Ship are real good.
Until they got on the Ghost Ship.
I mean, the first 15 minutes of Ghost Ship is pretty goated. It's a pretty fantastic opening to a horror movie.
You might say it's ghosted.
You could.
Hey, that's a 13 Ghosts joke.
Is it?
Matthew Lillard and Mr. Monk. And he says, Matthew Lillard tells him that he has ghosts, and he says, goats? And he says, no, ghosts.
Oh, okay, I see. All right, I get the connection there.
Tony Shubaloobaloob from The Monk. Let's even pronounce his name correctly.
In fourth place, Tony Shalhoub. In fourth place, the Dennis Quaid, Jim Caviezel movie Frequency.
Yeah. Oh,
which I remember really liking.
It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, also, maybe if you have a close relationship with your dad, don't watch it. You're going to be crying a lot.
Yeah. I watched it with my dad.
I mean, that's fine. So did I. And it was fine because I was young at the time. Yeah. If I were to watch it now, I would probably cry so much.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
In fifth place, the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas in its third weekend at the box office.
That's the one with the bald one instead of Rick Moranis, right?
Correct. And the one with Robert Baratheon instead of John Goodman.
Okay, yeah.
In sixth place...
I remember him as in The Knight's Tale. That's what I know him from.
Right.
I saw him in Game of Thrones. I was like, oh, that's that dude from Knight's Tale.
Still Standing. He's the husband in the sitcom Still Standing with Jamie Gertz.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. In sixth place, a movie called Center Stage, which is apparently about dancers? ?
It is. Yeah.
Seventh place, Where the Heart Is, a movie my partner once as a teenager tried to film in a Walmart and got kicked out.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's Natalie Portman.
Yeah, dude, she gets pregnant and she gets locked in the Walmart.
Yeah, and then she names her baby Americus, which is a dumb name.
It's a really dumb movie, but
really dumb. It's a really fucking dumb movie. My sister loves it.
But it's so wholesome you can't deny it. Like, you know how we watch all these sci-fi movies that like you have to suspend your disbelief, but it's so good that it doesn't matter. That's Where the Heart Is for me. Like, it's just so wholesome.
In eighth place, Screwed. What if people were screwed? I guess that's a Norm Macdonald movie. Dave Chappelle.
Yes, it is.
In that one. In ninth place, a really great movie that I love and Basketball.
That is good.
That movie fucking rules. Love and Basketball, good movie.
There's a Criterion of that, right?
Is there?
I think there is.
That would be awesome if true.
I feel like that is.
And then in 10th place, Held Up. A movie I know nothing about.
Apparently, I don't know that one either.
Nia Long is apparently in this movie. Jake Busey. Rosalind Sanchez.
Damn.
Sarah Paulson in this movie. Jamie Foxx.
Golly.
Directed by Steve Rash.
Yeah,
I know nothing about this.
No.
But there you go. That is this week's box office. The tomatometer score on this one is 3%.
Yeah, dude.
Just 3.
Just 3. The critics' consensus: ugly, campy, and poorly acted, Battlefield Earth is a stunningly misguided, aggressively bad sci-fi folly. So there you go.
A real
Very
tour de
aggressive.
force.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The Metascore is 9, based
Just
on
fine.
Fair.
overwhelming dislike based on 33 critic reviews. I don't think I've ever seen a Metascore that low. Tucker, you want to take a stab at the Letterboxd score for this one?
I feel like this is easy.
Look, like Letterboxd, it's all about the memes and the jokes. Nobody really reviews movies on there, so I'm gonna say,
Except for me, I do.
well, I mean, very few, not enough people do. I mean, its main function is meme reviews. So I'm gonna say somewhere in between people being silly and people genuinely having a good time with this movie like I did, and people completely hating it, it's gonna be between two, mm, 2.7 and 3.1.
Wow. 1.3.
Holy shit. The memes didn't pull through for this one?
Tucker, there are 320 5-star ratings for this movie. There are 11,157 half-star ratings.
They tried. They tried.
It's so bad, even the memes couldn't
No,
overtake.
I give them those 300 and some people. I give them credit. They tried. They tried because that's what you do on that site, right? But everybody else was like, I can't. No, like we got to cut the shit. This
Not
is
for this
actually
movie.
bad.
I can't.
Like I can't even make a joke about it. It's just
bring
bad.
myself to do it.
It real bad, people. Aggressively bad. Like we said, you can skip this one. Is it the worst thing I feel like we've ever covered? No, but it's...
No, I guess Food Fight exists.
Food Fight exists. Marmaduke also exists.
Are we forgetting that I had fun with this and I might watch it again? Like there are people I think who would have a good time with this. You can't say don't watch it. Don't watch it if it doesn't sound like something you'd be into, but if you're a fucking lunatic like me, yeah, check it out.
But who is a lunatic like you, Tucker?
Me, maybe some other people. I know I am.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is you and whom?
I mean, there's got to be some other people. There are more, I'm sure, of us.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
Again, I don't like this movie. Let's be clear.
So, just for the sake of argument, if you had to rate this film, say, out of 5 stars, how would you rate Battlefield Earth from the year 2000?
I will give it a 1.5. And this is why. Because it sucks. Like I said, probably top 50 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And boys, I have seen some stinkers. Believe me when I say, you don't know what I've seen. You don't know what I've seen. But it gets the 1.5 because I don't know. It's just so bad, and not in a way like The Room is, or any of those other movies that you think of when you think of movies that are so bad that they're good, but in its own little unique way. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to watch this movie over and over and over, but I may revisit it a few times. If I meet someone who I think would have a good time with it, I might show it to them. So 1.5.
Brett, what about you?
I don't think I'm fit to rate it since I didn't finish it. But I mean, if I were to give a rating to what I did see, solid 0.5.
Fair.
Whereas I'm giving it a 1.
Wow.
A 1 out of 5 feels aggressively generous to me.
Yeah. Like I feel like I need to rate it a 1. We need to swap scores. This doesn't make any sense. There's no way you liked this more than me. Like,
you guys, we did it. We subverted expectations. It's our 200th episode.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's different now. It's all different now. We did.
Well, then I got to raise my score to a 1.5 because, like I said, there's no way.
Then I'm lowering mine to a half.
Oh.
Well, then I lower mine
Stop
back
this
to
madness.
1.
Stop this madness.
I don't know what the official scores are anymore. Honestly, I don't care. I don't have the
It
energy for this.
doesn't matter. Look, this movie's bad, and you should feel bad.
It's so bad.
This movie's bad, and it should feel bad. Is basically where I land on it.
Yeah.
So when adapting the film, Travolta, they only adapted the first half of the novel. The novel is over 1,000 pages, and they only adapted the first 400 in some pages.
Oh, nice.
And so there was absolutely plans for a sequel. When asked while promoting the movie if there would be a sequel to this movie, Travolta said, "Yeah, sure." And then a year later, he said, ultimately the movie did 100 million when you count box office, DVD sales, video, and pay-per-view. But I don't know what kind of number it would have to do to justify filming the second part of the book. And I don't want to push any buttons in the press and stir anybody up about it now. So basically, no. A Tokyo-based studio did announce in 2001 that they would air 13 one-hour animated television segments based on the book, which to be rendered in a manga style, which obviously fell through. Yeah, it's kind of one of those just like, no. Like this, as soon as the movie enters its second weekend and drops from 2 to 6 in the box office, you pretty much know nothing's ever going to come of this.
No Animatrix for this.
Ever did, correct. So, and it's some of my favorite Letterboxd reviews. Someone called it a Dutch oven of Dutch angles. Good review. Someone else said, if this is the best Scientology has to offer, I don't think we have anything to fear from them. Dutch angle transition, 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 ad infinitum end. But there you go. Yeah. Just, what a piece of shit.
What a picture.
We like to cover the big disasters for our centennial episodes, and this certainly qualifies. That is, friends of ours, our 200th episode. We did it, guys. We did.
Congratulations.
200.
I did most of them.
You did. You did more of them than Tucker did.
Yeah, you done more than me, dude.
All right. Well, look, I don't want to throw that in your face.
I did. I will.
True. I'm an adult, Brett. I can take it. I understand facts.
But I have more respect for this man than that.
I suppose so.
Why?
Exactly.
We all friends. You all know we all friends.
Are we?
Yeah, dude.
Well, you're the one that hasn't been around for a while. You tell us.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Right,
you're the one that's been actively avoiding us.
I deserve that. Yeah, fair point.
Anyway, look, 200 episodes, and we've got some really good ones still to come, honestly.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was looking at the calendar to see what was next week.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not heard
really?
from our guest for next week, so we'll see.
All right.
We have a guest for next week's episode. I don't, but I can come up with something.
Damn.
You know how I do. We have a guest planned, but I have not heard. I haven't yet to secure a strong commitment. So unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I hope it does, because we haven't had this guest on in a while, and we need to talk to them again very soon, because they've got some good stuff happening that I would love to talk to them about. So I'm going to try to secure them for next week's episode. In the meantime, though, you can find us on a couple different social medias. Honestly, these days it's mostly Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky at disenfranchpod. You can shoot us an email, disenfranchpod@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. We'll read your emails live on the podcast, unless you tell us not to. You can head on over to patreon.com/disenfranchpod, where for absolutely free, you can join the official conversation of the Disenfranchised podcast, or for $5 a month, you can get access to just scads and scads of content behind that paywall. And it's one of these days, there are some lost episodes of What Are We Watching that Tucker's just going to drop there. Hasn't happened.
They're only 3 months old. Okay. And there's 2 of them.
We only recorded them at the beginning of the summer.
And I'm excited to put them together. I'm excited to have the time to do that. And I'd also like to do some Patreon stuff. soon.
Yeah.
You guys.
We have some ideas for some Patreon stuff. In fact, one of which we've discussed on a previous episode that we did. So
we gonna do that top 5?
that's what we're thinking.
Yeah. All right.
It's
I also
the
want to
only
do.
way I'm probably going to watch Frozen Empire. So yeah.
I also want to do another What Are We Watching, because the list keeps growing and I want to talk about all this stuff. Like, you guys are like, oh, I haven't been keeping a list and I don't care. Well, I have and I do. Like, there have been some things that I've watched that I need to discuss with you guys, at least briefly. So if maybe we could have a very special comeback episode of What Are We Watching.
Well, you know what we have to do first?
What?
Release the episodes you haven't aired yet.
Oh no, I know. We're getting there. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
The winter is it's a fruitful time for What Are We Watching. The summer, it's kind of a drought.
It is.
And that's just how it's got to be.
Winter is coming.
Feast and famine sometime. Feast and famine. It do be like that, though.
Dude, yeah.
And look, while you're on the internet, swing by Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating and review so that other people can find us too, because that really does go a long way to helping us find other listeners like yourselves. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy. You can find me on Blue Sky, and that's pretty much it these days. Instagram, I guess, a little bit. At Chewy Wall. I posted a picture of my haircut this week.
That's true.
At Chewy Walrus. Brett, where can we find you on the socials these days?
Pretty much nowhere except for Letterboxd.
Right on.
_Warlock. You can follow my Instagram. I don't post anything ever. Usually, sometimes like once a year,
rarely,
periodically.
But I'm on there. If you want to check out what I have posted,
yeah.
That'd be cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever, man.
Whatever, man. Tucker, what about you?
Well, I'm on Instagram and YouTube at Ice909. That's ICENINE, the number 0 and the number 9. Also, Tuck Mugs is a whole thing that happens sometimes, and that's at Tuck_Mugs on Instagram. And guys, I had sent a post to my social media coordinator yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's cook. I'm gonna let him cook. Like,
he's been busy the last couple of days. Like, he was off last week and just got back to his day job today, and so things are a little busy.
Steven, you know so much about him. It's like how Peter Parker is such good friends with Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you notice you never see me and your social media director in the same place. Have you ever noticed that? That's weird.
What? We gotta.
Bring me pictures of your social media manager.
We've got one in the chamber, though. I've sent it to my social media manager. They're putting the fine tunes on it and making sure it is ready for distribution, and it will be out, I'm sure, at least within the week.
And I have a guest mug from when I was staying with my cousin last week.
Might we do 2 in a week? I wonder if you could ask your social media coordinator friend, Stephen.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I know he's very busy, but yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Can you do me a favor? Can you take your glasses off real quick?
Nope. I don't want to do that.
How suspicious.
He'll get motion sickness. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. I can't see. Right. Look, I can't see without my glasses, Brett. What an absurd question.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
What, do you think I take them off when I transform? Honestly. How absurd.
Honestly, a little rude.
Yeah. Look, my bad. Strike 2 in the past 10 minutes.
There you go. You're on notice, Brett. That's like 3 demerits, dude.
Be fired.
Yeah, that's it. That's social media, I guess.
That's all.
That's it. That's all we got. Anyway, that's episode 200. Look, guys, we did 200 episodes, and I think that's something that we should be proud of. Do us a favor. Go back and listen to all the 200 episodes that preceded this one.
Every single one.
and listen to them. Listen to each of those 200 episodes 200 times. Do me a favor, and that'll really help our numbers and boost us up the charts. So thank you so much for doing that in advance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's all for our 200th episode. Join us next week for episode 201. This has been the Disenfranchised Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Foxworthy. For my co-hosts, Tucker and Brett Wright. Until next time, before you guys could even spell your name, we were podcasting to galaxies.
You know, whatever it is, Brett, call it fate, call it luck, call it karma, and you can cut it there.
What do you call it?
Whoa. Is the kitty okay?
Yes.
Okay.